As impassioned about daylight saving time as I am, but she is fired up about some other topics this morning, and she joins us to talk about them. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Well, we want to talk to you about this because the sequester now in full force, and it appears that, of course, we knew that the president had been saying this was going to be apocalyptic and that the administration was saying everyone was going to feel the pain of it. Now, a new leaked email that shows a response from the Agriculture Department that basically says, whenever you go through these cuts, make sure that they are out there and that they stick to the pain we're expected to feel in the public. Make sure that these are sort of the public pain points that the American people are going to feel. What did you make of this leaked email?
It's the second act of Sequester theater. It took the White House a couple of extra days to get all of their ducks in a row to unleash this on the public. And I believe this is not the first memo that has disclosed that they wanted to make it as public and painful as possible. You know, you've got all the kids screaming and moaning that they can't go to the White House tours now. The Agriculture Department, the Department of Homeland Security, and as I said, several other bureaus. And who would have put it past the orchestrators at 1600 Pennsylvania? Everyone. I mean,
Michelle, what does it say when employees of the executive branch are explicitly plotting to hurt the public who pays their salaries?
What it says is that the Obama administration, as expected, is willing to put national security, economic security, and pretty much every real public interest at risk for the sake of sequester politics. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, at issue here, of course, is that the White House is now closed to the public, and there were other choices, options, if we are, to understand that the president could have made. There were other, budget items in the White House, including 3 calligraphers that the White House employs to the tune of $277,000 a year, that they didn't have to necessarily close the doors. Eric Bolling from The Five here on the Fox News Channel, as well as Sean Hannity, have now made an offer to the White House saying that the $74,000 that it takes apparently to pay Secret Service agents to keep the White House open for a week, that they will foot those bills for the next 2 weeks. Here they are making the offer.
I'll make you a deal, Mr. President. Jay Carney, grab your pencil. Let these families take their White House tours next week, and I'll cover the added expenses. Word is it'll cost around $74,000. If I can get the White House doors open, I'll pick up the tab. Mr. Carney, you know this is an offer you can't refuse. Give me a call.
I'm going to follow Eric's lead. I'll pay for a week, too. I tweeted it out during the 5, and so now we've got 2 weeks covered.
Is that an offer, Michelle, that they can't refuse?
I love it. It's putting sequester theater and turning it on its head. I think maybe that we should put some of these sequester cuts up for a vote. And I imagine that the public would vote for those 3 calligraphers. And hey, how about the White House photographer? Because really, do we need another picture of Obama either phoning it in or looking at himself at the mirror? The White House chef could go. That could probably cover another week of White House public tours. And, I think what all of this does, of course, is evade the true issue of the entitlement crisis and the tough cuts that, that are not being made on Capitol Hill.
Let's turn our attention to Caracas, Venezuela. Not sure you're expecting it to fly down there. And I don't think that you went down to the big funeral this week for Hugo Chavez, although some members, some lefties managed to go down there, like Sean Penn, actor Sean Penn. Democratic Congressman Meeks, one of the, ethically challenged congressman, was down there. You had Reverend Jesse Jackson down there as well. And we were trying to figure out earlier, what is the appeal of this guy? If you look through his entire record, there's nothing that you could applaud about this man, what he did to his people, the corruption, the way in which he ran elections. Why would they fly down there and support him?
Well, I mean, he's the ideal left-wing tin pot dictator. And when all of these people go down there for this orgy of passion and deification of this dictator. Of course, they're going to be completely oblivious to the misery around them. The Hollywood types, the journalists here stateside who were lavishing encomiums on this man who trampled and oppressed his people, let alone the press and the media in Venezuela as well. I mean, it really goes back to, academia and, the brainwashing of the American left about the real-life brutal consequences of their ideology.
So it really is. I mean, there should be some social sanction. I mean, if you show up at, Idi Amin's funeral or Omar Bongo's funeral, people look askance. But if you go to Hugo Chavez's funeral, it's okay. Pretty over the top. Now, you live in Colorado, I believe. In your state, the legislature has just voted to lower tuition for illegal aliens. This comes at exactly the moment when the Defense Department announcing it is cutting tuition assistance to veterans.
Yes. Well, I think that's the perfect juxtaposition. People who have served and sacrificed and who followed the laws, not just native-born American soldiers, but of course naturalized American ones as well, who now are treated as lessers to illegal aliens in this state and of course many others. This trend of mini DREAM acts across the country, of course, acts as a massive magnet that will simply attract more illegal aliens to our state and others. And then, of course, they get pure amnesty as a result of the DREAM Act deportation deferrals enacted by this White House, which then engages in more kabuki theater by talking about endangered security because of our porous borders.
I mean, Michelle, obviously the argument on the other side, which is that these are kids. They're kids who probably came here through no choice of their own. They've graduated high school. They want to be college bound. These are the illegal immigrants that we've already invested in and that want to make something of themselves. These aren't the criminals, and that's why your governor says that he will sign this into law.
Yeah, but why give them the extra bonus reward on top of all of the de facto amnesty that they already have? They're already being allowed to be admitted into these colleges despite having illegal status. They've already gotten K through 12 free public education if they went to government schools. I think the point is that among law-abiding naturalized citizens, both categories, they don't get that extra bonus. And the fact is that in states like California, this is costing now an enormous amount of extra money, and it's the extra benefits on top. I think that really rub people along the wrong way. And I would think that every news article that covers and lauds these kind of actions should include the perspective of those American soldiers who now have tuition cuts. Fair and balanced.
You're right, Michelle, and we should also point out that if you are a military family, you are experiencing these cuts, you can go to foxnews.com. We did a segment just yesterday here on Fox and Friends which laid out other benefits available to military families in lieu of these cuts. Michelle, thank you for waking up early with us there in Colorado. We appreciate it.
You bet.